Do you believe in fate? On June 4th, my older sister Marina, she was 18, crashed in a car while driving home from another city. She was badly injured and she was sent to Krasnoyarsk by plane. And on June 27th, Marina had an operation. Her leg was badly dislocated. I was on my way to the university that day to find out about admission. My mother called me and said that my sister was no more. My heart couldn't stand it. From that day on, many strange things began to happen. On the night of 27, I was able to calm down a little from the terrible hysteria only in the morning, and just tried to fall asleep when someone called me. I opened my eyes. There was a guy standing near the sofa. Now, I don't remember what he looked like and what he said. He seemed to be asking something, because when I got up to answer him, my mother pulled me up. She was sitting in a chair a meter away from me. "Who are you talking to?" she asked. We were alone in an apartment on the 7th floor. I just shook my head, deciding that I had dreamed everything. Then Mom went to the balcony and a few seconds later flew into the room, all in tears, with crazy eyes. "She's here, my Marina is here," she shouted. I was on the balcony. I wanted to smoke, but she asked me to quit. She knocked on my window. I somehow calmed my mother down. The next day, relatives arrived. It was necessary to pick up Marina from the morgue and take her to her native village. My cousin arrived. She and Marina studied together and told me that yesterday, 27, at 10 o'clock in the morning, when Marina was just being taken for surgery, our 4-year-old niece approached my grandmother. "And why did the terrible grandmother come to Marina? Where does she want to take her?" she asked. I think there was no need for a 4-year-old girl to lie. Family friends Sveta, her daughter, son and his fiancée were waiting for us at home in the village, preparing an apartment. Then they told me that it was very creepy there at night. The doors themselves were closing, opening, slamming. Pictures were falling off the walls, especially the one that hung in the kitchen. Sveta was just hanging it in place, as after a moment, it flew off the nail. It was scary to be at home, and the girls decided to sit outside. Well, Sveta stayed at home. On the street, a dog was lying in an aviary. She seemed to also feel that an accident had happened. And the previous 2 days she didn't eat anything, didn't go anywhere, just howled everything. So the girls went down to the school, it's right in front of my house, and began to look at the house. Although they did not heat the stove, a black triangle formed above the roof, as if from smoke. After the funeral, Marina dreamed a lot of people, but my aunt told me that she saw her in a dream. How she and 2 other young girls were playing badminton in a meadow. Over the next 2 months, 2 more girls died. One also broke. The second went to the bathroom and she had an attack. Her heart stopped, although she was young. In August, our grandmother called us, all in tears. She can't really explain anything. Mom somehow managed to ask her, and it turned out that Gran was sorting through some old newspapers, found a notebook there. The entire first page was covered with Marina's full name with her surname and patronymic, then the month in order, her birthday and the day of her death. On July 27th, then many more similar things turned out. I remembered how, even before I left, I was standing near the store with one friend, and he had a moronic habit of answering everything at all. Well, the kingdom of heaven. Just then Marina called me. We talked, I hung up, and Leshka asked, "Who, they say, called?" I said that my sister, so he answered me, "Well, the kingdom of heaven be upon her." They had only a few minutes to live, dear listeners. I bring to your attention the story Vera told me on the beach in Sochi this September. The autumn of this year in the Cuban turned out to be unusually warm. I even had a chance to swim in the sea for the cover on October 14th. Then the water was very pleasant. So, the story of Vera. She came to the sea with her husband and granddaughter from Rostov. We left the city by car at night, about 3 o'clock, so that we could be on the beach in the morning. All the way ahead of us was an expensive SUV. There was a family with a girl about 4 years old. All the way, through the pall of torrential rain, we saw the white silhouette of their car in front of us. Just before dawn we stopped at a gas station to drink coffee and relax. They were already there. Vera heard a young woman calling her mother and telling her not to worry. They were almost at Krasnodar, the huge cross at the entrance to the city, sparkling in the rays of the rising sun, was already visible. She was all emotional, very happy that they had already arrived in the south. The weather is great here and the morning of a new day is engaged, and it was raining all the way. Mom, don't worry, a little more, and we will enter the city. The woman almost shouted into the phone. There are only a few minutes left, but those minutes turned out to be an eternity. They were not destined to enter the city. A white SUV was driving in front, and my interlocutor clearly saw how an old gazelle suddenly drove into the oncoming lane right in front of him. Such as vegetables are usually carried on, the collision could not be avoided. The driver just fell asleep at the wheel. They stopped and ran up to the mangled car, hoping to help. An ambulance was called. The paramedics arrived and pronounced the driver and the woman in the passenger seat dead. The girl was alive, but traumatized. Perhaps she has another place of death written in her program. Let's see what led the family to death. 1. The deceased, her karma. Death on the road, at the peak of some kind of attraction, emotional uplift. Hence the quick easy transition to the state of a ghost. She, as it were, pulled the girl along with her. But she had a different program in her karma. 2. Her deceased husband. He drove and could not stop, only karma slowed him down, putting his sharp stop. Everything was cut off, changing life to death. There was a condition that the wife was constantly talking, chatting and distracting. 3. We look at the daughter who survived. Here is the following information: salvation from Mother Earth. When the father and mother were taken to the next world, there was a sharp scenario of a change in the girl's life. It even seems that at some point she was unconscious, so as not to see and realize all this. She was turned off. It can be traced that in the future she will fall into good, kind hands that will raise her. The consequences of what happened will make her, oddly enough, internally strong. And this force will go, including from above, because parents from the level of a subtle plan will take care of her for a long time. 4. By the way, the driver of the gazelle is the one who fell asleep. There is an idea that he is also not seen alive or died later. Here the story will be like this. He drove himself, and drove. He was stopped only by death. He took two people with him and only then finally stopped himself. What is his karma mission? To make death out of life, the law of chance. Spontaneity has been activated. Everything turned into some kind of tragic puzzle, whose name is the Trinity of Death, and one saved life. Mother Earth, as it were, carried out the girl in her arms as her child, who should live. An accident. I will never forget the day that changed my life once and for all. I was driving from friends living in a country house. The party was fun, and naturally with an unshakable attribute of any holiday, alcoholic beverages. I drank a little, knowing that I still have to drive. The night track was relaxing, pleasant music in the car, a starry August night, fragrant smoke of expensive cigarettes, and then suddenly a silhouette appeared in the headlights. I physically did not have time to slow down. There was a thud. The body flew somewhere to the side of the road. Panic seized me. Then I did not think that I had taken someone's life. I was simply afraid of the criminal punishment that would follow for my crime. In a panic, pressing the gas pedal to the floor, I raced further along the deserted night highway. I don't remember how I got home, but only when he came to the threshold of his bachelor shelter. He fell right on the sofa in his clothes and fell asleep soundly without dreams. A quiet whisper woke me up. Asia repeatedly repeated. Over time, it became clearer and I distinguished confess. Confess I felt terribly uncomfortable. I am screaming, who's here? Jumped out of bed. After examining the entire apartment and not finding anyone, I blamed everything on the jokes of an alcohol-poisoned brain. Trying not to think about yesterday's incident, I looked at my watch and, seeing that I had less than an hour and a half left before work, I soon cleaned myself up, had an omelet and left a piece of beef in a bowl to drain the blood from it, left for work. At work, having typed the text of the quarterly report in the Word, I, without closing the editor, went to the coffee machine for a portion of latte. Sitting down at my workplace, I almost missed the cup I had just taken. My whole report consisted of one repeatedly repeated word: admit it, admit it. Admit it. I was scared. I never believed in mysticism. After closing the editor, I asked the general manager to go home, citing a headache. But I didn't go home. I sat in a bar drinking dark beer and trying to figure out what was happening to me. After the second glass, I decided that it was an unfortunate joke by colleagues at work and finally having fun. I took the car to the service station to fix the dents. I arrived home in the evening. Unfortunately, my slender version about the jokes of colleagues was completely destroyed by the fact that there was an inscription in blood in the kitchen, the same one that flowed into the bowl from a piece of meat. The word confess was written in large letters on the wall. It is difficult to describe in words what I was experiencing at that moment. After washing the blood, I got into bed in a semi-fainting state and turned on the TV. Watching some stupid show, I gradually calmed down. It started somewhere around 12 at night. The TV suddenly started switching channels, and only one sound managed to sound from each channel, and altogether they formed the word confess. Suddenly, with a bang, the interior doors began to open and close, and judging by the sound, the kitchen ones, too, there was a multiple stomping around the apartment. The TV went crazy, and a whisper came from all sides: admit it, admit it. This madness lasted for 2 minutes, and stopped as suddenly as it began. The TV turned off. The doors slammed for the last time. The trampling stopped smoothly, as did the whispering. There was a ringing silence, and suddenly this silence was cut by a mobile ringtone. I did not dare to get out of bed and take it from the coffee table. The call lasted for 4 minutes instead of the usual 50 seconds. Suddenly the phone independently accepted the call and put the conversation on speakerphone. Through interference and hissing, I heard a distant, but nevertheless clear word: admit it. Call ended. I fell into a semi-fainting sleep, even in unconsciousness, feeling the heaviness on the bed and an insistent whisper in my ear. As soon as I woke up, I immediately packed up like lightning and jumped out of the apartment. Seeing the word killer written in chalk on the front door, I erased it. I went to the church and put candles for the repose, but they went out as soon as I fixed them on the altar. All day long, SMS messages came to my phone with just the word confess. In the evening, I took a killer dose of sleeping pills and slept like a log all night. In the morning, everything was topsy-turvy in the apartment. Dishes were broken, things were scattered, and there was a piece of wallpaper on the bed, on which confess was written in pencil. On the same day, I came to the police with a sincere confession, and only after I was sentenced to 8 years. The paranormal phenomena in my life stopped, but every year I go to the scene of an accident and lay funeral wreaths on the side of the road.